Good morning. My name is Nathaniel Nyok. I am a public policy and political analyst with a master's degree in diplomacy and international relations. Currently, I work for Nile Petroleum Corporation as its Director for Public Relations and Corporate Affairs. So that's about me. So to all of you, please accept my profound thanks and gratitude for the invitation to participate in this very important commemoration highlighting and at the same time honoring the struggles, the achievements, the successes, and even dreams of women. So again, congratulations to all of you women in here and to all the women across the globe. You know, lots of women made a lot of sacrifices for women to have this day. And so I believe you women of South Sudan and maybe women in Africa will not take this day for granted. It is indeed a very important day. So happy International Women's Day. Now, I am not going to dive into the technicalities and complexities of internet and technology because in simple terms, it is not my field. Second, I belong to BBC Group, a group called Born Before the Computers Group. So as member of BBC Group, I am not into computers that much. So I won't talk a lot about the complexities and technicalities of internet or even technology. But let me ask you a question. How many of you are connected to internet right now? By show of hand, how many are connected to the internet? Thank you very much. How many would be connected when you are in your house or in schools? Okay. I could see a few hands. Now, why? Why are we not all connected to internet? Either here or at homes or in schools? Well, we all know, number one is the availability. It is not available. Devices, you're talking of cell phones, or whether you are talking of data. The problem is because it is not widely distributed by, say, internet companies. Sometimes when it is available, it is prohibitively very expensive. So how many people can be able to afford internet subscriptions? How many people are going to be able to buy data to be connected to internet on your cell phones? It could be, okay, maybe your boyfriend can buy you a phone, your girlfriend can buy you a phone, your mother, your father, the siblings, or maybe your wife, or maybe your husband. But are you going to sustain it? Are you going to be connected to internet as you wish? Not really, because it is very expensive. In developed countries, say in America, there are households and people that are not connected to internet. They don't even have cell phones. Why? These are called low-income households. In Africa, are we talking of low-income households, especially in South Sudan? No. we are talking of zero-income households. So these people do not have cell phones. These people do not have internet connections. So in this digital age, we in South Sudan, especially youth of today, you are a digital generation without digitals. This is because we could call it inequality, but not really, it's because of poverty. Whenever we have it here like MTN, is it available to everyone? No. Is it expensive? Yes. Why? Because maybe MTN is exploiting South Sudanese. There is no policy from the government. They are corrupt, they are greedy, they want to get more money from you, but at the same time they are providing poor quality internet. So can something be done about it? Maybe sure, but I'm not a policy maker. So again, in South Sudan, let's talk about rural-urban immigration. Many people are moving from rural areas to towns. They are coming to town maybe for better life, that's what they think. But when they are here, the town become populated, a lot of people in town, a lot of struggles, so internet will not even be a priority. At the same time, they come here, they don't have money. So you, someone working here in town, if you are lucky enough, or doing business, you would end up with a lot of responsibilities. These responsibilities cannot let you have that privilege or luxury of buying yourself a smartphone that you would use every month or every day to be connected to internet, because you will also have no money to buy the data. Some of the reasons are political. Politics and policy, like I said earlier. The internet company comes to South Sudan, they operate, they don't want to abide by the law, they're charging a lot of money, you feel it, the government is not responding to your calls. MTN is expensive, the government keeps quiet. Zain is expensive, the government keeps quiet. They can shut down anytime they want, the government doesn't respond. So now, we wouldn't call ourselves a digital generation in South Sudan, or in other words, there will be a digital gap in this country because of those reasons. Also, we have lack of qualified personnel, or you could call them savvy technology professionals, or maybe even infrastructure. You go to school, how many universities or colleges have computer laboratories? Maybe a few universities or colleges. So how do you learn to be digitally connected when you go to a school where there are no computer labs? How can you be connected in South Sudan when now you don't have a professional that is professionally technology savvy to train you? So that's why we have a problem in South Sudan, and we have a problem all over Africa. Now, we talk about maybe equality, maybe girls and boys. But it is very much of the fact of availability. So if we want it to be available in South Sudan or in Africa, then we need to increase the capacity to have access to internet and the capacity to have devices, especially outside of the home. Why? Because there were some norms connected to it. Some parents and relatives do not want their daughters to go far away from them. I have a cousin sister that I sent to school in Kenya, or I'm sponsoring right now. It was a battle with the family. They didn't want her to go. Maybe adopting other exotic cultures, maybe would be used to things that were traditionally tabooed like maybe having a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Because in many communities in South Sudan, in Africa, are not officially married. So they are afraid you send your daughter to Uganda, could be influence. One of the factors, the girls were not allowed. People then also thought it was a waste of resources to educate women. Why? Because they are going to be married off and they go to other families and they are going to be beneficial. And to have this, it needs a strong advocacy. Because we know our brains are more receptive. They are more receptive when we are young. Things I was introduced to when I was a young boy are still now stick here in my mind. So we want to have access to early childhood education. Parents and relatives and governments and schools must be willing to invest in girl child education. Because women nowadays can not only bring income through dowry, they can bring income through hard work. They can bring income when they are educated to both families, whether married or not. Married, they can support their relatives, their biological parents and siblings. They can also support their families, husband and wife, in-laws, and all that. So today, our people begin to know about the benefits of educated women because we see them every day. We know we have Rebecca Nyandeng, Mama Rebecca, we have Angelina Tang, we have Awudeng, we have Sarah Kleto, the governor of Western Bara Gazal, we have Nunu Kumba, we have Josephine Napon, we have Josephine Lagu, and Nyandeng Malek, the former governor of Warab, and many, many, many other women. And many, many other women, and I will be concluding soon. Many, many other women. So there are benefits to educating women, and this is what you advocates should look into. What happened to our policy of taking towns to the people? Let's encourage that. Let's even take towns to the villages. Let's take schools to the villages to discourage rural-urban migration and instead encourage urban-rural immigrations where people have access and internet and to school internet and in the communities. Let's also not encourage girls, especially boys. We cannot discourage girls from going to school. There should be policies bearing the anti-bullying practices. So to me, it is not about equality, but more about equity. Let's give everyone accordingly. Because we cannot wear shoe size 45, all of us. But all of us need shoes. Everyone should be provided shoes. And thus, it's the same to education. Let's provide quality education to everyone. That's what the government should encourage. Also, let me touch something about us here. As advocates, we are educated. And as educated, we can lead the creation of prosperous and just societies and nations. As leaders, we must at all times also engage in devotions that lead to meaningful change, not just change. Our commitments to driving public service initiatives across public, private, or even non-profit sectors should always be faithfully inclusive. So empowerment is the tool. To you here, it's not about you, it's about people out there. So you need to be those who invest in empowering others, because instead of advocating or talking to people about their rights, let the people know how to identify and claim their rights. Also, we are educated and we interact with the world every day. So the world's engagement with our engagement with the world needs to be mutually beneficial. The lack of internet and technology in Africa is also international politics. You know, developing nations do not want developing nations to have access to internet because it is politics. A lot of things are digital now. So many Africans remain in the dark because the West and the developed countries want to continue the exploitation. For example, there is brain drains. There is a guy called Almeida now, he's in the US, in South Sudanese. He's a video game developer and designer in America. They are keeping him there because he's enjoying life. He cannot come to South Sudan because there is no conducive environment for him to be here. So what I want to conclude, because I think there is time, but I wanted to give you a bit more, but because of time, we want, when we are interacting with others out there, we want the rest of the world to know that when they are in Africa, they are no longer in a human zoo, but they are in a free Africa where Africans can decide the freedom and the future of Africa. We are an independent republic as South Sudan, but we cannot continue to be in political or economic diapers of the developed economies. Why don't we produce? The government and the NGOs, they can facilitate the production, and we, the people, will lead the production. So, in conclusion, just a small story, and forgive me, Ayuel. A man and his, it's a description here. They say a man and his ever-nagging wife, they were on holiday in Jerusalem, and the wife suddenly died. The funeral company told the man that it would cost $45,000 to ship or to take her back, or the body back home, or $500 to bury her in Jerusalem. So the man or the husband said, please, I'm taking her back for $45,000 instead of burying her here for five. So he said here, and 3 days he rose back to life. So I don't want to take the opportunity of burying her here. And then maybe she appeared again. He wanted her buried completely. He doesn't want her to rise again. Now why? Why, if we go through that story? It's because we always want to revenge. And in a state of tolerance and forgiveness, we want to revenge. So gentlemen and gentlewomen in here, whether males or females, we are all human beings created in the image of God.
much, Chol. We've invited so many government institutions, and not all of them have made it today. And for that, we're very grateful that you are also representing an institution that is part of the government. Thank you very much. At this juncture, let me invite the people that are making us stay here. And we are here because of our beautiful and supportive donors. And I'm going to call a representative of the USAID to give their remarks. Please, can we give them a hand clap? They have done an amazing job to us from the review of the legislations and up to now. And that is something we can never forget. Young people have been part of the law-making process last year and up to this year, and it is because of these amazing partners. Thank you very much. Please welcome.
Greetings to everyone. Greetings to everyone. Happy International Women's Day. We thank God for bringing us this day. It is a very important day. I want to thank all the speakers that have spoken. We have heard, we have understood. The task is now ours to take it upon. And I want to thank all the young people that has endeavored to come here today. I come from USAID. We could have had other people representing, but you know, today there are a lot of events that are taking place. So we have been asked to scatter. I want to thank the South Sudan Youth Coalition for taking this opportunity that is given by USAID. We all know that USAID is a donor that is willing to support the youth. And it is my humble request that we take this opportunity seriously so that we are able to develop. This is the only time we can use to develop ourselves, to become resilient, and to be better people in this country. I would like to say about the theme of today, digital all innovations. My brother has spoken about the challenges that we have in this country. But there's always a say that where there are challenges, there's always what? Opportunities. Let us not look so much about the challenges, but let us find opportunities within the challenges to help us cope. We have just been attacked by COVID, and businesses were stopped. Nothing was working out. But people had to eat, life had to continue. And many people suffered. But that was a time that people who continued with digital work were able to make money. People were still selling online. And I see that some of us also cope. You can see some people selling things on their WhatsApp status. You just open status and you find a lot of things. You say, okay, send me this. And it has helped many people to survive. Life can be challenging, but within the challenge, if we see an opportunity in it, we will excel. I want to say about our culture as people of South Sudan. I am so happy that we have the young men in the room. May God bless you and thank you for coming. The young ladies are suffering. But now that you are here, let us change the image of this suffering. We need to promote the ladies. Let us promote our sisters. We know a common behavior of having ladies get married before their age. Let us stop it. Let us help our parents. Let us let them know that the generation where we are in is a generation that a woman has to go to school. A woman has to be somebody. We cannot all go to school and get a job, but there are many things we can do for survival. We have a lot of testimonies of people that are doing economic activities work and they are surviving. As long as somebody is able to build a generation where we educate a woman we decade the old nation. It is not a crime, but we need to encourage our sisters, encourage our mothers. And now this is a time to talk to our parents. I know in our society, young men are always listened to by parents, especially the older parents in the village. If a young man comes and says, "Daddy, let's do this," they will listen. But when we join hands and we kill a sister, like what has happened in Lakes, what do we gain from it? We make a loss. Who knows who she would be tomorrow? But we buried her at a tender age. Let us work hard. Let us try to do our best. And we know that slowly, slowly, our parents will get to listen to us and have a mindset of changing the tradition that has passed, that is harming our life. I also want to say that internet has come. We are now into the digital world. Let us use the digital world for productive issues. In many occasions when things are happening, especially our ladies, we don't take that opportunity seriously where we have internet. But when we are to check on us who are looking at our phones right now, maybe we are looking at pictures, we are looking at what? But let's use the internet to read more, to widen our understanding, to develop our capacities. There are online trainings that are happening now. They are just trainings that you just join, and it will help us develop our capacity so that tomorrow next, we become better people. I brought this message to us because once in a year is only when we get a time to talk about the strength of women in the whole world. This is the only day that women are being celebrated globally. Us who are in this hall, we are mainly only the youth, and this is an opportunity. There is nothing that we have spoken here that should be taken for granted. I love the speakers that have spoken, and I was so much encouraged. Let us speak very great lessons. Let us work hard. Today is the South Sudan Youth Coalition. Tomorrow we want to hear somebody else. We want the youth to develop. We want the youth to be people who can change the image of the country. Few of the women are doing digital work. Few of the women are working in the internet cafes. They are computer literates. Why? This is still an opportunity that we show ourselves that we are able to do something digitally. We are able to promote our people. We are able to promote the society. And we are able to change the image of our country, which many people see as a bad or a dead image. I want to say, as I conclude, to the South Sudan Youth Coalition that congratulations for the work well done. Let us continue with it. And I want to tell you that if you still get a chance, USAID is still willing to support. Let us work hard. If we have the result of what we are doing, why not get more money so that we are able to continue like that? Thank you, and may God bless us as we celebrate this day.
Thank you very much. Please, let's have it louder. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. And indeed, we are always grateful, and we will continue to thank you for the support that you're giving to these amazing young people. I've seen someone's hand, and we will come to that session. Kindly give us time. We will. Is there anything you want to communicate? Oh, her name? Oh, okay, please. Sorry for censoring you. That was very important.
I'm sorry, my name is Eunice Atim. I am the Gender POC for the Office of Democracy and Governance at USAID, and at the same time, the admin. Our mission advisor, gender advisor is Munira. She was supposed to be here because today is Women's Day. But as I mentioned that there are a lot of functions taking place. Since morning she has been on iRadio, and she's going at the American corner at Juba University. So we are scattered. Thank you so much, and my apologies.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, you can have it. Thank you, and again, let's clap again, please. This time I've given you the chance to clap randomly. Please, let's do it. It is not organized again. Thank you very much. And be reminded that we are also happy to have our partners. iRadio is streaming the event live, and all of you are live on iRadio, and that is very amazing. We also thank the team of iRadio for giving us that platform, and thank you very much. At this juncture, we're going to get into the panel discussion that is very important, and all of us are going to be part of it. You will hear from these amazing young people that we brought to the podium today. They will speak so much about digital rights, about women's rights. We'll ask them a lot of questions, and then you will have an opportunity that you will later ask questions and directly interact with our members. So at this point, I'll ask my chairperson and our invited guests to take the other seats as we use this table for the panel discussion. Please let me ask Lek to kindly organize a seat for our two guests, Peter Malir and Chol. Maybe they sit somewhere so that we begin our event. Yes, please do that as quickly as possible. So let me hear from all of you. How do you feel? How is the day? Is it okay? By show of hands, let me see. Is it good? Say yeah. Say yeah. Okay, my voice is not women's voice, but it is women's voice. It is deep, right? Okay, let me see men that are standing with our sisters and mothers today. Let me see your hands up. Those who say women have all the rights. Let me see your hands up. Okay, can we clap? Can we do a clap for the men? Women, oye. I want to hear from men. No, not women. Let me hear from men, that voice. Women, oye. Women, oye. Okay, let's hear from the people who have the day, this day, the beautiful people. Oh, okay, there's a way they do it. When women rise, we rise. When women rise, we rise. And when women shine, we shine. When women shine, we shine. I thought men would also be saying we shine better. Okay, please, Peter, and I ask you to take your seats with Chol the other side as we embark on the panel discussion. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So, at this juncture, allow me to highlight to you what this day is about as we get into our discussion. So, International Women's Day is a global in the women's movement, bringing attention to issues such as gender equality, reproductive rights, women violence and abuse against women. The theme of International Day today, 8th of March, is Digital All, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. This theme is aligned with a priority theme for the upcoming 67th session of the Commission on the Status of Women, Innovation and Technology Change and Education in Digital Age for Achieving Gender Equality and Empowerment of Women and the Girls. And I believe all of us here stand tall in protecting our women and supporting and standing up for the rights of women. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as we take a panel discussion this morning with amazing, beautiful young women and a young lady and a young man as we discuss the importance of this day. And therefore, allow me to introduce my panelists, and I'll begin with the gentleman the other side. Denaya is a young man that is doing very well, the founder of Koneta, who has empowered a lot of young people in this country, and he believes in the women's right as well. Denaya, please, can you wave at the people? And thank you for being here. Please, can we clap for him? Yes, you will hear from him. The next person is an amazing lady, the founder of Go Girls, ICT, a very amazing friend of mine that doesn't know me very well, and I do follow her. So she is going to take us through a lot of discussions this time, and she joins the panel. Please, a round of applause for her. Can you wave to the beautiful people? Thank you very much for being here. The next person next to me is a beautiful woman that all of you might be aware of. And Rachel, thank you for having you here. Can you wave at the people? Yes, thank you very much. So we get into our discussions. I wish we had two mics. It's very unfortunate that we're only going to use one, but it's fine. We will try to use it. So after this, you will ask questions and we will interact together. And we're supposed to have other people, but unfortunately they are so much occupied. And inspiration. You've done this as an app, and it seems to be moving very well. Please let the young people know and let them be encouraged from your step.
Hello everyone, my name is Rachel Hakim, mainly known as Ray, R-A-Y. So I am the CEO of the Hakim's Empire, a multi-purpose company, and at the same time the founder of Google Play. So basically, I've been in the workforce for about 4 years now. I started Google Play last year. It was just like kind of a joke that it all got started. But then the meaning and the story behind it is so motivating towards me. So last year, I was at work and a friend of mine came. He saw a poster somewhere talking about digital business resilience, EAC, East Africa Community. And then he was like, yo, there's this thing here and I would like you guys to apply for it. And then I was like, please don't disturb anyone here and all of that. So the person who brought for me the news motivated me to apply. And then boom, I got applied. That was the very time whereby I started to interact with Denaya more often because the whole entire thing was at his organization, Connector. So that was the beginning of every single thing. In that process, I had to go through boot camp, training, selection, and all of that till I became the winner of the digital business resilience. So my project, Google Play, it's all about something that I have really loved to put myself into. I'm a huge fan of entertainment, especially South Sudanese content. And by the way, I am also a TV presenter at SSBC. I have my own show called Chill Zone. And I do work with Classic FM as a radio presenter. Not only that, also I reach into extent of creating a marketing roadmap for companies and organizations. So it's a kind of thing that I do according to contract, not full-time. And all of this really got it from experience. So during the bootcamp, we had to sit down and think of what problems should we solve. So I had to come up with entertainment. The reason being entertainment is that I've seen it's a lucrative industry, but a lot of people haven't put their efforts or energy into it because they've seen like, oh, how is it going to pay back? What is it going to be all about? But through witnessing the power of technology, it really enabled me to scale it in a different way and see it into a more effective manner. So Google Play aim is to enable entertainers to be promoted, exposed, and marketed both locally and globally. And at the same time, giving them to earn out of it. So people will be like, oh, it's just an entertainment platform. That I had to think out of the box because I strongly believe there's nothing new under the sun. So it's all about getting yourself together and to see what kind of unique product are you going to put out there. It might sound familiar to someone, or it might seem like something already someone passed through, but what will make them attractive, especially those who are going to benefit more, who are the content creators. So that was how the birth of Google Play came into existence. And by the way, Denai have been throughout the journey as a mentor, and at the same time, not only did I end up there, Google Play, due to its vision of making it as a platform to earn through 5 to 6 different ways, it also gained last year, the same year, November 10th, in Uganda. I was awarded by the Vice President of Uganda, Presidential Innovation Award as Best Innovator in South Sudan and East Africa Community. So it's not something. So mainly when I came into the existence, that was when everything skyrocketed. I was like, all right, so creating a platform that everyone is familiar with, how exactly is it going to reach out to people? I was really worried about the exposure because a lot of people had similar kind of thing, but not really exactly as how I designed it to be. But they couldn't make it. But I'm like, no. First of all, branding is so important. It's the reason I say, once you're making something, make sure you brand yourself before you make anything. How? Displaying obedience, honesty, and who you are, carrying yourself, packaging yourself, putting yourself out there. Because once someone knows who is behind that, it's already selling. And I guess due to good connection and good people getting involved and the support that I had, now that's how I ventured into tech entrepreneurship. A lot of people are saying that you have to be relevant to technology, like courses. For example, having coding knowledge in ABCD. I tell you, technology nowadays is no longer about you knowing something, but it's you involving to self-educate yourself. And that's what I have decided to do, to self-educate myself, work with the thing, and bring out everything. And guess what? Even after that, a lot of things started to pop out. So Google Play is not going to be the only thing that will worry me no more, because I've even seen more ventures into how to expand our technological sector in South Sudan. So thank you.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. And picking from there, you clearly say educate yourself, and again, brand yourself. And one has to move with honesty and all those kind of aspects. I want to pick it from there. What made you think you want that innovative project from, of course, someone like Denai was been into that field, mentoring a lot of young people. What do you think made you win? There were so many young people. I was following up with other people around. What made you think you had the opportunity of all the young South Sudanese to pick it up from there, and you are able to get into the East African space? Briefly, please tell us, so that other young women here can also be inspired and pick it up from there.
So the main concept is, how unique are you? Because remember, if we are talking about tech, it's like almost every single person is doing the same thing in different sector, but the uniqueness about it. I discovered that for me to grab the chance, first of all, I have to connect myself into open-minded people. I intentionally had to choose the cycle that I want to be in. To grow, which means I have to grow with people that are already above me, or people that I'm competing with in a healthy manner. That's first. Secondly, I have to do thorough research, thorough trial and testing. Trust me, 1 year is not enough for you to say that I can earn out of my platform. Because through that, putting your product out there, you get to experience it, you get to feel it, you get to sense it. Because the moment you're going to present out there, they already know the capacity that you do have. When Google Play first got launched, the first look was really basic. And guess what? First week, I gained 1,500 visitation. Going on to the second, the month just ended like this, 6,500. After 3 months, it went on to 10,000 people until the page became really heavy. Then I was like, no, I have to do something about it. I cannot be in the same look and all of that. By the way, if you never viewed Google Play, it's www.googleplayssd.com. That's where you find it. So far, everything is for free. Someone will be like, you're supposed to earn out of it. Trust me, in business, if you are doing business, unless if you are doing some businesses that really need you to put money, but in technology, there's testing and trial that I've known. You might be thinking of, I want to do this. You have to be creative most of the time, innovative in a different way. Innovation, people think that once I create this phone, that's an innovation itself. Even an idea is an innovation. I have to creatively sit down, look into what I wanted to do. Music is everywhere. Then I'm like, no, I don't want only music. I want to put drama, I want to put comedy, I want to put music itself, I want to put online ticketing system, I want to put event listing system and a lot of that. So that I will have the value of it, even as a platform, not only to earn out of one source. And there's this business canvas, which is slightly to business model, mapping it out. You think critically, you take your time, so that once you stand, even confidence plays this role, you know? And the beauty about it is that me from South Sudan, I found that I've gained a lot of attention. Winning here, I was, in the competition that took place in Juba, I was the only female out of 9 men. Going to Uganda, I was the only female out of 5 men. So I found that that one itself really gave me enough platform, because once I say something like, hello, I'm Rachel Hakim, now everyone will adjust themselves, oh, this is a female, she's the only one like there, we have to give attention to. So I have to think every day. I reach it into extent sometimes, now you know why rich people have sleepless nights. Because you really want to think of something different. You need to analyze yourself. I have to say that I don't want to think local. I have to think global, but start from somewhere. My idea is not to have other platform that will be there, but a platform that can produce. So a lot of people will be like, it's a website, which I started with because of also my income. And talking about the application, that's not only where I want to enter. I want you to be an entertainer. You sit, you have your money coming in without you struggling for that to happen. You're a content consumer, you're sitting, you know whatsoever is happening about the entertainment industry, not blogging alone, but every single detail. That's what we are going to. Though the journey haven't been as sweet as it seems, but every day I know the reason as to why I have to wake up to think, to build, to create, and to put it out there. Besides, having a strong team that understands and try to work together with you is the best thing ever for you to have. So uniqueness, creativity, building together a team that can also implement your project, and thinking on how unique you should be is the best thing ever you can do for yourself.
Wow, I thought you would be clapping by now. Amazing, amazing. Building a team, having honesty, and intentionally picking out people of influence and people that you'd want to grow with. That is a statement coming from Rachel Hakim, the founder of GoGo Play digital platform. That is very amazing. Young people taking South Sudan to another level. This is very good. I now move to my sister, Eva. This is another young person that is also into ICT, and she's the founder of the GoGo Girls Information and Communication Technology. This is GoGo community. This is this is really amazing having you here. Kindly please, let us know how many people have you so far mentored, and what happened next after the mentorship sessions are completed with those girls, because I know you are into this. Please.
Thank you very much, South Sudan Youth Coalition, for the invitation and the platform. So yeah, I'm Eva from Go Girls ICT Initiative. Actually, I'm a co-founder. We have other ladies who co-founded Go Girls as well, so I'm one of them. So Go Girls ICT Initiative is a mentorship program for especially women and girls in South Sudan. And mostly we look at grassroots engagements. And why we do this is because initially, actually, we were lecturers at the University of Juba. We were teaching assistants at the College of Computer Science and Information Technology. And so we noticed that there were very few girls, very few ladies in most of these courses, computer science and IT. And actually their performances, their confidence, they were really not doing that great. And then when we tried to find out, actually we were only 2 female teaching assistants at the college by then. And actually most of the students were either older than us or our age mates. So it was interesting to see that the numbers were very low. So Go Girls ICT Initiative started out as a weekend program for these students at the university, those doing computer science, IT, but also those ones doing science-related careers, because all these are connected. So we started out with meetings on how to build confidence of these young girls and young women, but we realized we couldn't just do that at universities. We needed to go back down to the grassroots, back to the communities, back to primary and secondary schools, because that's where it all starts from. That's where we young women and girls always try to think of careers in future. So it's nice to always mentor young people and always build their confidence so that they are able to actually think of or choose careers that are related to tech. So we were able to mentor a lot of girls from 2015. The number is around over 100. That's in primary and secondary schools. And then we also have mentors who actually do the actual mentoring of these girls in primary and secondary schools. So we have so far reached up to around 80 mentors from University of Juba, and then last year we expanded to other universities. And as the program keeps on growing every year, we keep on getting mentors from different universities and not only University of Juba. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope we are all in this room, and if we are all in this room, such powerful words are escorted by a clap. Can we do that? Thank you very much. Mentored 100 women and 8 mentors already enrolled, and they are doing that for the benefits of young people in this country. This is really very amazing ever, and we hope that all that continues to grow. I now move to the gentleman, the only gentleman among the women now, a man that has mentored so many young people, even some that are seated there. And I want to begin by saying, by the way, he's my twin. People say we look alike. He's into tech, and I'm also a student of tech. So my twinnie, good to see you here. I want to quickly ask you, how do you feel that you on the same panel discussion with people that you've mentored? Please, before we move to the question that I intended for you.
It's a good feeling, and getting to know that whatever I'm doing is impacting someone, and that gives me joy. She's not the only person, and there are also others. And by the way, I want to let you know that Eva Yai was my lecturer at the university. So she taught me at the University of Juba, and currently I'm also a teaching assistant at the University of Juba at the IT college. So I feel good to be here with all of them.
Wow, this is the beauty of mentoring young people. We need this to be told to our uncles and fathers, that when you mentor somebody, you can sit as well together and see how the beauty is, okay? So look at the teacher sitting with a student and the student sitting with the mentors, and this is really amazing. So, Janaya, why is gender equality in tech very important? Why do you think our women, like the ones that you've taught and the ones you're mentoring and those that still need to be mentored, why is it very important for them to be into the world of technology, and how important is tech to these young women?
That's a very important question. And from the discussions we had from my colleagues here, we have gotten that there are a lot of opportunities for women, but then there are very few women who take these opportunities. Just like we heard from Rachel, among all those who applied for the programs that came out, she was the only successful lady. And that did not leave her wandering somewhere until today. She's being talked of and used as a role model. And when Mrs. Eva talks about the number of girls, very few at the University of Juba, because we are taking that as a case. That's where she has been, and we have also seen what is happening. And you find that there are very few ladies or women who, I don't know, risk or venture into the technology industry. But all in all, I just want to say that the gender inequality, in other words, we can say the gender gap, the gap between men and the women who take up technology courses at the University of Juba is so wide. And maybe that's my assumption, that in every 15 gentlemen, tech men, there may be one lady. That's my assumption. So you can look at 15 men who are in the technology industry and only one woman who is there. So it's a very big thing. And all it comes to how we perceive technology. One of the things that I realized was that in my interaction with many girls during our career sessions is that most parents, they want to decide for the careers of their children. For example, when I chose to do IT at the university, it was not what my parents wanted me to do. They wanted me to do maybe engineering, they wanted me to do, they want me to become a doctor. That's what they have in their minds. But me, I chose a different path because I applied for it at the university. So when I went for it, many people even mocked me. This is what I always tell even my students in the class, because they think when you're studying IT, you're only going to learn secretarial work. They said if you're doing IT, you're just going to become a secretary in an office doing typing and printing, which is a very limited knowledge people have. And given the world today, where there's a lot of conversation on digitalization, where economies are going into digital, into digital systems. Look at what happened even with the NRA, the National Revenue Authority, just for example, where you find that governments are transferring their systems into softwares or digital platforms. So given the conversation on digitalization, so the question remains that what are we doing to make sure that everybody at least is able to use those platforms? I can tell you that even in those offices of National Revenue Authority, not everybody knows how to use those platforms. Maybe among 20, there's only one who's an expert. Maybe they bring consultants from outside who are the ones who develop this system, and so because they know these are foreign consultants, they don't want to let them go, so they have to hire them, maybe they have to pay them a lot of money, and then South Sudanese are there, you're just told to do this and do this. So the issue of gender inequality is a very big thing, starting from our families. Like how do we, he said something very important, how do we make sure that everybody has access at least to internet, to computer devices, So this goes to our families, and I wish their parents here they could also know this, because it happens that even in the house, a husband will have a computer and the wife doesn't know even a computer, and they stay in the same house. You find that there are cases where parents trust their boys to have smartphones more than they trust the girls. So I don't know why, what girls do on the internet, maybe they will tell us, but I believe these are things which come, gradual, and these are conversations, in that there's an alarm that we need to pay attention to make sure that everybody at least has access to skills. And this is the reason why some of us are trying to come up with initiatives that support young girls to come and venture in. Like we have a computer training that is going on right now, and our emphasis is we want to see women come for the training. We want to see even people with disabilities. Of course, it has not been talked about, but we find people don't come for them. So at the end of the day, you find men are the ones in the house and they attend the training. We recently had another training with 10 people and only 2 ladies were able to finish the training. So these are things which are alarming, and I think we really need to do something. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Denea. That is really important. That young women, even at family level, need to be taught and to be given those kind of rights. Of course, we do have stereotypes about women, that even in sport, we've seen so many women doing very well in sport. But back in the days, you would be told, when you put on a shirt, and then it is another issue. Even it is moving to the digital industry as well. So that is very good and very inside information. Now I move back to Eva, and my question to Eva would be, how do you ensure that the Go Girls ICT initiative can also impact behavioral change of the boys, and how does it also goes to include our sisters with disability and people also with disability in parts of this? Basically, can you highlight to us?
So our program is actually inclusive. We have the men in the program, especially the mentors from the university. The call is always open to any student who is interested in becoming a mentor. So they are all invited, because if we are having these conversations about including women in this digital, in the digital movement, then we need the men there to talk about it, because culture, our culture actually does not allow women to pursue these careers. So we need the men there to be able to advocate for the women. So we do this in the mentorship, but also to be able to engage communities and recommend. So we don't just go to a school and choose students, but we give this priority to the teachers or to the school authorities. So we have meetings with the schools, and then we discuss with them, and then be able to come up with a list of the students we would want to be in our program. That's in primary and in secondary schools. And then we also go back into the communities, because initially when we started out the program, it was very challenging. We saw most parents taking their girls out of the program because they thought these girls were wasting their time, especially the program was on weekends. So it was very hard, because girls have to be home and take care of the house, they have to clean, they have to wash. So they thought these girls were being lazy and they didn't want to do work at home, and they were wasting time doing this program. So before we actually start the program, after we've identified the beneficiaries, we invite their parents to a meeting and then present to them what we do, the advantages of letting your girls be part of the mentorship, or letting your girls be able to be part of learning how to use digital technologies. And then after that, we actually don't come up with the curriculum ourselves as Go Girls, but we co-create. We look at the challenges in the communities, because actually parents raise a lot of these challenges, and the men too, and the boys, they raise a lot of challenges like cyber security, information security, or access to information. So when we look at all these topics, then we are able to co-create the content together with everyone. So we actually involve these men at all levels, communities, schools, and the mentorship itself. Thank you.
This is really very amazing. My question goes back to Rachel. Do you track the app that you created? And if you do the tracking, how often is it used? How many users are using it, particularly to women who uses either boys or women to the gender?
Well, it's actually a daily kind of thing, whereby I have to check. It's actually the SARASA website. I have to check it daily, because me myself, I want to know how does it react to, and I want to feel comfortable as a consumer. Whenever I'm on my website, I don't feel myself as the owner, but as the consumer. I have to click every single thing every single day. I know it's so tiresome, but it's a need to do that. And unfortunately, the sad truth is that I discovered, even during my engagement in the media industry as a TV and radio presenter, men are the ones who show up to opportunities most of the time. They're the ones that will be like, I trust the process. But women, only few, I can count a few of them, who stand up even for their contents to be there. When I approach a content creator who is a man, I don't find it difficult to interact with. But a woman, you see Kalasquez, Talbejai, Munu Munu, and even some lose their content. Imagine you're an artist, but you don't have your content with you. You have to go and ask someone who has your content, which is very difficult. Now, about tracking the system and everything, still, the high consumers are men. And the ones who even give me feedback are men. I literally have to, ask people that are female. I give you my things, and I'll be like, try it out and give me your honest feedback. Because I know women have different kind of look into life and everything. So they'll be the one now to tell me, oh, if this is this and that. I actually encourage something else that I would like to include. I encourage feedback so much. The more you get feedback, the more you know how to perfect and improve your platform or any kind of business that you do. So I have to literally go to them and ask them, please do this, look into this. But still, men are the one who come automatically without me forcing them to be like, oh, this is this and this that. So having the number of visitation, the number of clicks, the number of content viewing, the number of music listened to this person according to the other one, it changes daily. It doesn't stay or remain the same thing. But as a content creator, not a content builder for the whole entire thing, it's actually my duty every day to check, to see, and to witness whatsoever is happening for smooth enjoyment of the site.
Thank you very much. In the morning, Ruth said that men are not problem. We're not fighting men. Men are not problem. It is us women that are not supporting ourselves. Is that statement being validated by what you're saying, that most users of your app, most consumers are men, and women are very few? Is it something connected to lack of access of women to internet or digital platform to accessing that? Because I believe maybe the men could be majority on the internet platform. Is it having something connected with women not having full rights to accessing digital platform? Do you think that is, or is it in the other way around, that women are not supporting their own sisters?
Well, I'll say that also lack of information plays another role. Good example, not taking it to everyone, but where I live, my house, I call my father's house my house, by the way. So, yeah. So, in my house, you find that the person who always encourages, who always wants to know how can they add another benefit, or how can they support, be it financially, emotionally, is my dad. Coming to my mom, she'll be like, you're wasting your time. What are you doing? She'll be always against it. She'll be like, no, tech, not for you. Better give it to boys, you know? And even if there's something that gets spoiled, well, no, akutaki kelo jasala. And while I'm here, I'll be like, seriously, what's happening? Always boys, and you'll be left behind. Catch up with them and even work extra harder to fit into the shoes. Now, talking about support, honestly speaking, only few women are seeing the importance of their other female on top or doing something. You find majority love comparison. They love to see their children doing it, but when someone else's child is doing it, now you feel that heating of hate and jealousy going on. At the same time, giving a woman another chance to go forward to, you find it's difficult for other people to accept that, you know, as a woman, when you're doing something, you're more noticed compared to a man. Very quickly you get noticed. And that one itself feels like for some people they need to remain there. If someone else is trying to get like their same level, it feels as if they're going to be pushed away. While the thing is you and your grace staying where you are. So for women, I feel like, you know, they need to be highly informed. They need to be given the chance to try it themselves because they haven't witnessed it. They don't know how is it going to benefit them. If I don't know the reason of why I have to do that thing, it gets really difficult for me even to understand as why someone else have to do it. Another quote that I have taken into myself is that not everyone should understand your goals or dream in life because it's actually meant for you. It's not meant for me to understand. It's not meant for my parents to understand. It's meant for you to believe, to have faith, to build it and to do that. So if no one can understand what you are into, don't waste your time because it's all built and meant for you. So your dream is your dream, not for anyone else to understand.
Wow. Your dream is your dream, not for anyone to understand. That is really amazing. Or that are in this house are taking keynotes of the words that are coming up from these young, amazing people that could actually help you later on in building your own platforms and also finding your way in the digital platform. I'm coming back to my brother, the big giant in the digital industry. And as a mentor, as someone who inspired to see South Sudan people having their digital rights upward, how can you find a digital solution for the girls? How do you go about it? As someone that is practicing digital rights advocacy and someone that is doing a lot, mentoring a lot of young people, can you briefly highlight that to us?
Thank you so much. You mentioned something about digital rights, which is a very big conversation also, that we can exhaust and talk about it. In the first place, I want to recognize that a number of us, I think also including you, were able to come up with the South Sudan Digital Data Protection Bill, which is yet to be passed in the parliament. And it is a very good document that once it's passed, all of us will have a right, at least when we engage on digital platforms. That is for another conversation. Now, coming to making sure that girls, have those opportunities and knowing who they are. One thing Rachel said is that it's very important to know what you're doing from what she said. And I always love telling people to do a SWOT analysis of their technology life, about your tech skills. Find out what are your strengths. For example, in today's era, where everything is about technology, what strengths do you have? What are your weaknesses? And then what threats do you see? And then what opportunities do you see in the digital world? So once you're able to know some of your strengths, that means you will have to make use of those strengths. I have people that I know, I met them, they work in government offices, and even where they're working, they still don't know how to use a computer, which is a reality. And there is this big minister, I think he's a minister in South Sudan, who was invited to do a presentation outside South Sudan. I don't want to mention the name. So this person was invited, and he has to give a report and a good presentation about South Sudan. While other people from other countries are using slides, they do very nice presentations and everything. So our guy from South Sudan went with the paper, Now he was trying to convince people that this is how South Sudan is. I mean, we can tell the difference, even when we go to those offices. So the need is very big, not only with women, even the men. At least our age, some of us have had an access to technology. Now, when we come to young people, and specifically girls, having known what exactly you want to do, and then how do you want to do it. These days, technology leads businesses, it's ahead of businesses. This is what I was telling my students this morning. Because in some years back, technology was just, you have technology in your business or in your operations, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But today, if you want to do something, you need to know if you're doing business, how do you make sure that you're able to get people online? If you're running an organization, how do you make sure that you're able to keep with people even outside the country, people not within your reach? Whether it is a company that you're running, like whatever she's doing. So literally, we cannot run away from technology. We cannot run away from technology. And with this, we know that there are so many opportunities, so many opportunities in the industry, in technology, in which if you don't have the skills, the mere skills, for you to be able to know some of these opportunities and how to maneuver around, even on the internet, it becomes hard for you to compete with other people. It's not that ladies don't want opportunities, but she said he had access to information. Sometimes, where do you get your information from? I think that's a very good point here. You see? So, these opportunities are there, but sometimes we ignore them. And given that today, technology also has its own, its own thorns, where we talk about cybersecurity and safety online, and where you find a lot of scammers and a lot of, people, threatening our presence online, on the internet. You still need to have skills on how to move around when you're on the internet. It's just like in our physical life, how do we behave on the internet? So once you're able to identify which information is correct, which one is not correct, then you'll be able to stand in the gap and say, I'm taking this opportunity and I think I want to really risk in it. I can tell you that Rachel doesn't have any background in technology. Did you study technology? She did procurement, right? Business administration, yeah? And you can see the gap, the difference from business administration and now to somebody leading a digital platform. Is that not a challenge to some of us? You see, there are people who are, I know someone who is very good, who also trained me to some point, and he's a civil engineer, and he taught me somehow how to do programming. So we can never run away from technology. We just need to love technology, give yourself some time, practice what you can. If you cannot, get attached to people who can support you to move ahead. So this is what I wanted to say just randomly in connection to this. But all in all, I just want to point out that skills are very important. Don't ignore having skills. And you cannot have skills without learning. That means you need to keep learning as your best friend and keep on learning. Even me now, I'm still learning.
Thank you very much. Keep learning and identify people that can take you forward. Those are very great words from my colleague and our friend Denaya. That is really amazing. My other last question will be to Eva, and the question is, how do you conduct remote consultations with girls, given the challenges that comes with internet and other technology equipment that are needed to facilitate the conversation?
Yes, I've got your question. Yes, so as we all know, when the pandemic came in, when COVID came in, everybody was online, no physical activities, and the whole world was now using internet. People are talking of Zoom, people are talking of online classes. Just on Thursday, today is Wednesday, on Monday, internet was off, MTN was actually off. Even if you're so good at using the internet, even if you're digitally literate, we at Go Girls always look at, like I said in the beginning, we look at communities and offline grassroots engagement. So we don't just try to access people who are online, but we look at the alternatives that can still use technology, but at the lowest, least, less costly actually. So I could give an example. During the pandemic, when other people in the world were using internet, they were using Zoom classes to our beneficiaries from the programs that we run were also at home, so they could not come for the mentorship or they could not go to school. So we collaborated mostly with the schools, a few selected schools, and we looked at how to give access to these kids so that they could continue studying at home. So in our needs assessment and outreach, when we reached out to the families, we realized that actually everybody owns a feature phone, a button phone. Not everyone has a smartphone, not everyone knows how to use a smartphone, but most parents have button phones, and these button phones can actually read a memory card. Other people have Bluetooth speakers, and they're able to listen to music at home, even those who have never had a computer degree or they have never taught themselves how to use computers, but they know how to play music using a Bluetooth device. So we took advantage of those low-cost technologies and we developed content together with teachers. So we looked at a revision of the curriculum, especially the science, hands-on, practical related tech, and then we tried to develop this into content that could be distributed in form of podcasts. So we collaborated with a producer of podcasts, and then we as people who have backgrounds in curriculum and education at Go Girls, we sat down with the teachers and tried to come up with a pilot curriculum of how to administer content using audio, because most of the curriculums that we have are so much classroom oriented, face-to-face. So we tried to make sure our learners actually were able to stay connected, were able to access content, and this content was actually also published for those people who are online, and they were not really our beneficiaries, but they wanted to use the content, as well as those who are interested in the content could come to our office and they copy it on memory cards and be able to access it on those phones. Those phones are cheap. By then, I think they used to be around 3,000 SSP. So everybody could be able to access that.
That is really amazing. I don't know, are we getting tired? Because I don't see the hands clap, I don't hear it coming. Unless if we're getting tired, we can stand up and stretch a little bit. And if not, let's finalize with the questions, and then we come to the session of interaction. Thank you very much, Eva, for that great insight. My last question will also go to Rachel. How have you used your platform in bringing up digital gender inequalities? Please.
Well, let me say this. After that, I started a live session. I found that there's something really interesting, but I stopped due to some reasons. I found that there's something really interesting. There was more beyond than people getting consciousness or awareness about technology, but there was something really funny. I never knew expectation versus reality is so big. You'll be expecting something, but once you implement it in real world, it's something else. Then boom, I started to witness a lot of things from the actual sense of running an online digital business. Reason being as to why a lot of it couldn't make it out there, especially in South Sudan, and also the people themselves, and all of that, you know? So I started to create I was like, oh, then an idea came into my mind. I can't reveal the idea right now because I'm working on it. Once it's done, then that's when I'll be publicly informing, like everyone. I'm a kind of person I can't inform unless if it's happening. So that was when I started to develop an idea and working on towards the idea. I realized that a lot of people never knew that they can turn their skills in technology into business. A lot of people think that once I know how to code, I know cybersecurity, data analysis, you'll be wondering, I'm a business student, but I'm speaking all of this because I had to do self-education. And all of that, once you get that certificate or that degree or diploma, you find that you start to look into which company should I work with, or organization I have to work under so that I exercise my skill. That was when I realized, no, you can have a computer, a mouse, a notepad like this, and a pen and start business right away as a tech-skilled person. And that was when I discovered that business and technology, though it existed in other worlds, now how can I play my role? Even having a mere website, you can attract so many people and make money out of it. It's just that people don't have the right knowledge on how exactly they can exercise their skills to make money. So right now I get to tell you this, you can use business and technology side by side and create your own job that you have been looking for instead of just waiting there. So I started by going out live, telling to people about life improvement, this and that. So the feedback was really nice. And reaching to an extent, young youth used to ask me some, questions regarding how can they do this, how to improve their business. And I offered that service for free because I really wanted to see, will my knowledge and my experience of what I've done cover them so far? And I discovered the feedback was really good in helping other people to do that. That was when even I got more empowered by making myself to be freelance marketeer, whereby I'll be going to you, giving you a business draft plan. And that way, last year I worked with 4 companies, just not a full-time employee, but I would just go work for some few months. Once I see that your strategy is going well, I move of Google Play, and that's how you go forward. I always say, if you're money-minded at the start of everything, it gets really complicated on how to move forward because you're not sure whether what you're doing is going to respond. Trust me, you might be seeing someone out there on the internet that are doing very good, but environment differs. So you have to get what already has done. So let me say Google Play, apart from making me to be known, apart from my platform also reaching out to people, apart from me reading out the project and the plans of what I want to do, it also opened my mind into new challenges that me myself have faced, and I've realized also youth down there at face. So therefore I would say that let's not only focus on the tech side of whereby I can code, I can do this and that, but look forward into now I can gain money without being employed out of the skill that I do know. So I'm looking forward into how can that be impacted for people of South Sudan as well, or youth of South Sudan, to gain more knowledge upon that.
Wow, amazing. expectation versus reality is so big. These are her words. Use technology to create your own job that you are looking for. Exercise and sharpening your skills that you gain through various companies that you've joined. Let's not only focus on technology for being known, but also gaining resources. Can we clap for her, please? This is really inspiring and amazing. I do thank you for all that grateful information. I also saw my sisters and young people taking note. That is really amazing. I hope in the next discussion we're going to have, we will have other new Rachel and Emmas coming up. Back to our big giant, my brother. I am having the final questions for him, and then I come to our audiences. Sir, based on our social belief, societal belief that confidence in technology, is it gendered? Do you think it is gendered? I know you touched a little bit when you were talking about it, but on our societal mind and how we do things in our societies, do you think it is gendered?
Confidence in technology, if it is gendered, I will say no, because technology is for everyone. That's one thing. And I don't deny the fact that we have stereotypes. There are cultures, there are things that people believe in, and they normally attach them to our careers, they attach them to our day-to-day lives. And I have a young sister in the house. I asked her what she wants to do when she goes to the university. And she told me she wants to do arts. That's, of course, a conversation that I had with her. And I asked her, why do you want to do arts? Why don't you do sciences? And she openly told me that sciences are hard, but men can, she wanted her brother to do the sciences. And then I laughed. I asked her who told her that she cannot do the sciences. And this is like, it is very hard, so Baba told me, let me do arts, and then let the rest do the sciences. So that also gave me, a hint of what conversations are happening in our families. Sometimes it plays a very big role what we speak and what we tell our young children and our siblings in their houses. So to me, technology is not gendered, because everyone who is born into the world is capable of doing what he or she is confident of doing. So I would say we just need to do our part in our communities as an individual to make sure that we remove the stereotypes and put hope in people. Let them believe that they can do it. Yeah? There are ladies who did ICT, and there are very few of them. And I know some of them, those who have done ICT, they are not staying. Most of them are already working. And I gave an example of our time. When we started our class, we were about 100 plus. She was our lecturer, and then I think she knows. And we had like 10 to 12 girls whom we started, our ICT class with. But we graduated only with 2 ladies. Yeah? From the 10, you find that only 2 ladies. Some of them dropped. Some of them changed the courses because somewhere they felt it is very hard. And only the 2 who remained, right now they are serving. I think one is already working with the government in WOW. So we just need to change our conversations. We just need to change our mindsets and believe that we can do it. Nobody is born with technology, of course. We all learned from school. And when we have gaps in career sessions, that also affects, So sometimes we need to sit down and talk to these children, find out what are their fears in their careers. What are the things they fear so much? They'll tell you. I fear mathematics, I fear physics, I fear, and it's just a belief in them, which is not born. It's not born, it's just a fear, maybe because they failed somewhere, and they believe that when they continue doing it, they will fail. So we just need to change our narrative and begin to speak positive and let others believe that they can do it from what we tell them. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Denaya. And technology is for everyone, and I don't deny that there are stereotypes against women. Everyone born to the world is capable of doing what he or she can do. Let's get into our societies and discourage stereotype against women. These are great words from our brother, Denaya Dennis. Can we please give him a round of applause? And thank you very much. Thank you to three of you. You've spoken our hearts. You've encouraged all of us. And I know there are a lot of young people that already wants to get into technology and be mentored as well. That is really amazing. At this point, I'm going to come back to our audiences and get your questions or comment or recommendations that you would want to make to our panelists. By show of hands, I'll begin from this side. Maybe I'll pick two people, and then I'll come to the middle with two people and the other side. As long as our time does not get us for lunch, bear with us as we summarize up this beautiful session. So I want to invite one of our members. Christine is there for Kapat. Anyone from Kapat that is seated there, please? Apart from Peter. Is Leg there? Okay, let's have a volunteer that will be taking the mic around for the questions. Yes, come forward, Nyol. Yes, please. You should be taking up the mic for us. All right, let's start on this side. Anyone with a question to our panelists? Yes, let's begin with Mandela.
Yes, thank you so much. I actually became speechless because these ladies have proven the world wrong by judging the book by its. So I think the task is up to us. Banad will join it. Ana mutaki takunasoma. I'll bishilu. Like I just encourage you to take what these girls have taken. I need to question Lom. How about it's going to be about the maintenance of the app. What does it take to create the app and also maintain it? That's the first question. And the second question is that concerning cyber crimes. How safe is the app? Masalan min hackers. Number question goes to the giant, the way you call him. Yes. Considering the inclusivity and the accessibility of the training in Juba University. Because I believe in Juba University we have students with a visual problem. So how inclusive is that training? And also how accessible is it? When I talk about accessibility, I mean computers that are there with the JAWS. Are they there? Because I remember since 2020 up to 2022 last year, in partnership with the Union of the Visual Impaired, we were able to train about 43 persons with visual impairment, and then about 10 girls included in that training. So I was doing the training myself, and I do the JAWS installation also. Do you have the JAWS software there? Thank you.
Those are very good questions. And next person, please. Yes, give it to her. I think I'm very loud. I don't need the mic now.
Good afternoon. My question goes especially to Rachel. Rachel, I think it's safe to call you my mentor now. I have listed around 12 of your points. I admire you so much, and I have learned a lot from you, and I felt I have to ask you this question. I want to know if there were any moments since you started your journey, especially in a competitive situation. For example, when you have to go and represent your innovation in Uganda, have you ever felt for a moment, or have you ever been made, or have you ever felt underestimated, undeserving, because it's harder than your male counterpart to stay relevant, or to overcome that kind of challenge? Are there a movement like that?
All right, thank you very much. Yes, please give it to her.
Okay, it was such an incredible presentation from both. I really adore and inspired. So my questions will directly go to Rachel. First of all, applause. That was such incredible innovation. And then you're such a great woman. Continue with the vibes. One, I know there's so many entertainment platforms out there. So how do you make Google Play unique from others? And then second, I know it's a journey, and a journey must have challenges. So what were some of the challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them? And then to Eva, I don't know if I pronounce your name properly. Well, I know I'm someone who is actually passionate about studying sciences, and I really acknowledge that science subjects are not that easy. It actually requires I'm so grateful that you inspired women and mentor women outside there. However, I just want to know the couple number of women that you mentored. How are they giving impact to the community with such kind of mentorship you gave them? Are there some kind of innovative programs they're doing, or they're just sitting down there with the kind of mentorship you gave them? So that's all from me.
All right, thank you. Let's have the first phase so that they don't forget. Let them answer this phase, then we come to the next round of the questions. Are we together? So please let me begin with Rachel, that is next to me. Kindly go to your questions and answer them, pass the mic over.
All right then. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Well, talking about maintenance and cybersecurity, we make sure that, as I told you, having a startup, because in a business there's a startup, growth process, and maturity. So maybe some of you will know that, but I would just love to give a brief highlight about that. Startup is when you're starting like something, and the growth process is when it's taken over from there. Now maturity, let me give a good example of companies that are really matured. MTN can be a very good example of that. Going on to Zain, those are the companies, I would say so. Now digital is in the growth process. Yeah. Talking about another startup, it's yet unknown companies that are trying to start from scratch to go on. So as a startup, I will encourage that you need to have useful people. I must emphasize on the digital engineering aspect of it. So not only me working alone, but having 2 engineers on board, whereby we make sure we have the full safety of our platform, and at the same time maintenance, so that the consumer will not fall into any trap or errors regarding that. So in tech, you need to know cybersecurity should be a first priority, and also maintenance for smooth running of the platform. That's first. Now, overcoming underestimation, I would say honestly, I in fact got underestimated from my country than abroad. Yeah. Because when I was here, I found a lot of people that were like, what you're doing, trust me, when I was told to go and represent the country, someone was like, how can South Sudan be represented with music? I was like, what? That really broke my heart. And guess what? A South Sudanese said so. And that person is a leading person here in the nation. So I felt really bad, but why should that person underestimate me, my abilities, and what I did? And guess what? What he said was wrong was the first that went and got the award from there. So I was like, yo, it's so interesting how even the Bible says that Christ couldn't be accepted in Israel. Only when he went out, that was when he got appreciated. And I've realized that here as well. So after when coming back, then people started to realize the worth of technology and to be a female, transforming and all of that. So underestimation should not take you back. It's something that is normal in the journey, and you find it a lot. I tell you a lot. You find it within the family, out of people. No one will see the worth of what you do until the moment they hear people appreciating it. Then they'll be like, that's when you'll be realizing that. So the third question will go on to the uniqueness of Google Play. So Google Play is so unique in a form that I have to make sure in any way, any corner, both me and the consumer, the creator and the consumer should benefit out of it. Having a library, okay, I divide it into two. I have two target groups: the content consumer and the content creators. Those are my target. So for the content creators, I have to make sure that they do have several or multiple income, source of income. Instead of only downloads and streams, they need to have more than that. Secondly, is that they do have accessibility to number of people, an online audience, whereby I found that even Junubian who are in India, who are in Egypt, who are in Australia, contacted me via the website that they want their content to be there. It's just because they have found it somewhere at some point or referred to that they had to get the accessibility. So that one itself marketed them beyond. Because I'm not looking into marketing in Juba alone, but I want also our people to be heard over the borders. And a third is that as a content creator, you find that you have easy accessibility of selling your own products and tickets. So I don't have to look at posters on the street. I just go to Google Play and I find the whatever is there and immediately purchase it from there. Of which in another way, the content creator is going to earn, not only me alone. Now for the content consumer, you'll be having library of South Sudanese quality, South Sudanese content. Because for me, I've seen it around on how people exactly just like, download anything, but we focus into the quality, getting quality content. Another thing is that getting verified people on board, whereby instead of your content, just surprisingly, you see it on my website or my platform, I have to make sure that we come into agreement that this thing is to happen. And the beauty about it in the future, we're going to use our payment mode in SSP. You don't need to use your Visa card, you use your pounds, and there's a method I'm going to use, I can't reveal this, because right now, everything is just a method whereby you can use even 200 pounds for you to purchase a song.
Yeah.
So giving accessibility, simplicity, and even understanding, very simple thing, but with high effect to a content consumer. So those are the things of how Google Play is so unique compared to the rest. Now the challenges that came with it, the first one, of course, everything as a startup have financial challenge. But the worst was the emotional breakdowns that I had several times. Emotional breakdown. You find that you do this, you prepare, you be very excited, you put everything, you put all your effort. Now, out of nowhere, something will just collapse. I realized in tech you can rebuild the thing 10 times, no matter how good you are. You put it, you find like, it's not the expected thing that I wanted. Pressure will come in, people will be like, why is this thing not like that? Why is it not like that? They don't understand what kind of pressure even you're facing. The second thing is that I will advise you, if you are to bring someone on board to work for you, or you co-founder with the person, but the person is not aligning with what you want, don't keep the person in your company. Fire them immediately. I've really faced that. I try to compromise by saying that, also females, we are very soft. Let me give this person another chance. And I found that I was eating myself from inside. While I never knew working with wrong people can really drain my company and my progress down. I had to literally tell them, you know what, I'm stopping you for this. Thank you for working with me. I don't need to fight. I don't need to scream. I don't need to show that I have that thing, that I'm the boss here. And by the way, another thing I discovered, working with men, you need to work with ego. He will be like bossing around. Now you'll be the one here, trying your best, just like, let me endure this man. They don't want to feel like there's a lady leading here. Yes, it hurts a lot. It hurts them a lot. So I have to also deal with how I can manage men, not in relationship, but also at work. You see? So I had to learn how to manage them so that once I tell you this, you feel like, okay, she's right. Then she'll be like, she's now pushing herself because she's a female and all that. No, I have to learn how to have an ethic at work, keep my professionalism at some point. All these were challenges for me. So I decided, since this is going to bring me back, difficult to find female, but men. So I have no alternative but to cope up with that. So what I had to learn was through the hardest way, and that was one of the reasons I said expectation versus reality is so big. I expected work would be so smooth and so sweet, but unfortunately, things didn't go the way as expected. So I had to put out the challenges and try to look into how I can improve myself via that.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Thank you very, very much. Yes, let's hear from Eva the questions that are thrown to you.
So I have one question from the lady seated on that table. Sorry, I forgot your name. So you asked how the mentors are creating impact after the mentorship. So over the years, we've had a lot of mentors, and like you had, the mentors are not only female, but we also have male mentors. And by the way, Denaya Dennis was one of the mentors in 2017, 2018. And of course, after that, he went ahead, worked with Go Girls a bit, and then he set up Connector Hub. And then we have another mentor called Gerald. Right now, he's in Japan. This year, he's starting his PhD. He went there for master's, and now he's pursuing his PhD. And then we have some other female mentors who have gone ahead to get jobs, because sometimes when we are doing this, we are approached by companies like MTN, Mgrush, asking for some of our mentors to go and do internship with them. So actually we have one lady working with MTN, she's called Hadia. I think you've seen her on billboards around Juba. So she was one of our mentees actually from secondary school, and she was able to pick up and pick interest in science-related courses, and she's now at the University of Juba pursuing her degree. And we have a lot of other students who have been able to move from secondary school and be able to pursue science courses, as well as through this program we've had some girls who, actually I'll not mention names, but we had one who was taken out of the program by the parents, and they were taking her back to the village to marry her off. And when we approached the family and we talked about it, they said they didn't have money to keep her in school. So the only option they had was to take her out and marry her off. But through the program, actually, other students who are very vulnerable and they don't have, less privileged, have been able to get scholarships to pay for their tuition in primary and secondary schools for a year. So there are a lot of impact stories. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. That's very good. Please, let's hear from Denaya.
Yes, I can't remember his name, but
Mandela.
Yes, Mandela. Thanks for the question. And he asked specifically about inclusivity in terms of training for people who are visually impaired, whether the University of Juba has the capability in supporting them. I teach at the School of Computer Science and IT. In that college, I've not seen the software, unfortunately, but I think this is a very good point raised, so that we'll be able to bring this out even in meetings, and to me also to see that if there are students who really need this kind of training, not necessarily at the University of Juba, but there are those even outside who will really need this software for, to support them and for them to be able to use the computer. We'll make sure we engage with other partners to bring this conversation. What I want to say is that I think there's been less or no conversation in terms of digital inclusivity for people with disabilities. And most organizations and schools, they are still struggling to make sure.
We'll go to Eva. Eva, if I heard clearly, you mentioned of this mentorship, especially for science. So, is it mean that it's only for science students who are willing to do science? On how could they come to that platform? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yes, any other question? Yes, this side.
Thank you very much for the presentation. My question is about the tracking system. When the moderator asked you on how you track your page, and you talked of men being the most consumers or your customers on your page, So according to our International Women's Day theme, what are you planning to promote gender equality via that? Thank you.
All right, thank you. That is a very good question. And yes, I see someone's hand. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm called Parflet. Okay, I will be very brief. In first place, I will thank the panelists for their wonderful presentation. I really benefit a lot. Okay, my question goes like this. Goes to Go play digital platform. Rachel, okay, yeah. Okay,